Go. We are live now.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are joining us from. This is Integrated Institute of Professional Management, popularly known as IIPM. Thank you for joining us today. It's another wonderful time with every one of us. I believe we're having a great day where we are. So this is break time session where we have interactive and a dialogue moment with every one of us. And I believe that we came with some of the questions that have been bothering our mind when it comes to the aspects we are going to look at today. We know how everything is at the moment, and there's a need for us to re-strategize, restructure, and also know what is very important for us to focus on per time. So today we are going to make it more interactive. You will drop your question while we have some prepared questions for our ED today as well. So we are going to be looking at different aspects of leadership, management, entrepreneurship, and of course, and some other areas, that we can look at that will be of benefit to every one of us. So if you have any question where you are now, please kindly make use of the comment section. Ask your question in a manner that will be easier for us to understand so we can help our executive director. And please, if you have anybody you think they should join this particular session as well, because it's going to be so much informative and educative, reach out to them, kindly like and share the link with them. Let them join us. We're going to make it brief and it will be so interactive. So now I would like to invite the executive director in person of Dr. Ebruche Banito to come up while I'll be asking some questions we are going to look at when it comes to leadership, management, entrepreneurship today and consulting. All right, so over to you, Dr. Banito. Thank you.
All right, Dami. Thank you so much for having me. And I trust it's going to be an awesome section for us to have this interaction together. So it's good that we are all here. So thank you. So let's look at what the questions are and then look at how to answer them.
All right. So let's just go to the business of the day straight up. All right. So, Doctor, we've dealt with some of these questions before now, but I believe when we emphasize on a particular issue, it brings clarity and direction. If we are to look at the entrepreneurship part, what are the key factors influencing successful entrepreneurship in today's market? What are the key factors? I mean, you can help us maybe 2 or 3, itemize 3 or 2. What are the key factors influencing successful entrepreneurship in today's market? That's the first question, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I should talk about 2 or 3. So I will just take a look at 3. Some times ago, we had this discussion on entrepreneurship. And then I remember Dr. Larry being on stage, and this question was thrown to him, and he responded with 3 things. So it's the same thing I'm going to do right now. I'm just going to add to what he said. Now, Dr. Larry pointed out that the major factor affecting entrepreneurship today is knowledge. Okay, is knowledge. So entrepreneurs need to have good knowledge of quite a number of things. You have knowledge of your customers, you have knowledge of your market, you have knowledge of your product, you have knowledge of your value delivery system, you have knowledge of everything you need to have knowledge of. You have knowledge of the kind of people that should be working with you. Okay. So this will summarize it into three: knowledge of your products, knowledge of your markets, and knowledge of your environment. Knowledge of your products, knowledge of your markets, and knowledge of your environment. So this, when it comes to knowledge, these three are important. Then the second thing affecting entrepreneurship, or that could make for successful entrepreneurship today, is networking. Many entrepreneurs have not understood the power of networking. So it's always a function of me, myself, and I. And that's a very big problem for most entrepreneurs. So if we can leverage on networking, improve the quality of our network, that could also go a long way in helping us flourish and prosper as entrepreneurs, especially in time as this. Then the third is on market trends, having good understanding of data, or having good data and interpretation thereof. We are now in a knowledge economy where everything is driven by data, quality data. So entrepreneurs need to also have access to quality data. Okay, entrepreneurs should also build on quality data that could help them make decisions. This data could be on market trends, customer information, and a whole lot of other things surrounding your product, your service, your customers, your markets, and all of that. So these three things are key. You have your market, you have first of all your knowledge. If any entrepreneur that wants to survive and flourish in this time must be addicted to knowledge, okay, must take time to invest in knowledge. And this knowledge is around three things: knowledge of your products or services. So that means you go deep to having good understanding of management, good understanding of operations, good understanding of systems that will deliver a product, and many more. Then number two is knowledge of your market. Do you have good knowledge of your customers? Do you have good knowledge of the market growth, the market value, the market worth? Your product, is it going to be sustainable, and all of that? You need to also put that into consideration. Then the next one is data. Okay, data. We need to put more information or put more attention to data, because we are in a knowledge economy and we are driven by knowledge. So that is very, very important. Okay, I trust that helps. Let's go to the next question.
Fantastic. I mean, if there's anything I pick from what you've been saying, is the parts that said you must have knowledge of your products, knowledge of your market, and knowledge of your environment. I mean, that's just everything for me. So profound. So I believe people are also writing, and they are picking those points. So I want to ask this question concerning management. Doctor, let's look at what are the strategies that are so effective for managing and leading people remotely in this globalized economy. What are the strategies? Okay, you can go ahead if you get the question, sir.
So strategies for managing people in a globalized economy, right?
Exactly, but it will not come in form that maybe you are not seeing those people physically. Yeah, remotely.
If you want to talk of remote working, obviously, you might not have that you get to meet people that forever and ever you may never get to meet those people. For instance, if you meet people on Fiverr, you might not meet them physically. They only do your work, deliver, and that's all. However, let's look at it. What's the strategies for leading people in the globalized economy? You know, this is an extension of the first question you asked. What are the major success factors that entrepreneurs should pay attention to? And then I talked about knowledge of the environment, right? Talked about knowledge of the environment. And of course, in this current era we are, the remote work environment has taken over most of the HR assignment. So if you must succeed as an entrepreneur in this era, you must have good knowledge of your environment in terms of people management, okay? And one of the most cost-effective ways of managing people in this era also is through remote working or freelancing, as the case may be. So what are the strategies you can use to make sure that you manage people effectively using the remote platform? Okay, but before I go through that route, before I answer that question, let me just note that we have different platforms that offer remote job opportunities, but you have to be careful on the platform to use. You must check out the reviews, check out the quality of the people within that environment before you could go ahead and invest your money on people that you don't know. That's one. Apart from platforms, you can also reach out people one-on-one to work with you. Okay, that means before you could start reaching people one-on-one, you must have either tested their credibility by the reviews of what people have said about them, or you've met them in quality platforms where they are giving you the best opportunities of what they are doing. So now coming back to the strategy. The strategy, I would say, boils down to one or two. Okay, number one, you must be very good in communication. Okay, effective communication is key in managing people in this remote era. Effective communication is key. Then number two, okay, but when we say effective communication, there are different platforms you can use in driving effective communication. Like now we have utilizing meetings. Okay, so you go ahead and utilize meetings effectively. If there are hangout sections, go ahead and utilize hangout sections, but make sure that you must have effective communication means. Then number two is to have well-defined goals and objectives of the engagement. So there must be terms of engagement. There must be well-defined terms of engagement. We call it remote work, but yet it's still a contract work. Okay, it's still a form of contract. So there must be well-defined um, terms of engagement for the people. Okay, and then of course, on the terms of defined engagement, we must get to understand um, what are the expected outcomes, at what range, and what pay, and all of that. All of those things need to be put into consideration. Okay, all of those things need to be put into consideration. So I've talked about communication, I've talked about terms of engagement, and of course, in under the terms of engagement, there should also be provision for monitoring and evaluation of what has been done. Okay, so there should be a framework for monitoring and evaluation. So I would say these three are good to start with. So there must be effective communication, there must be well-defined terms of reference, and then there must be a good M&E, monitoring and evaluation framework. All right, thank you.
Yeah, interesting. Effective communication is key. I picked that. So the question I want to ask now is still kind of intertwined with the previous question you just answered, but I will put it this way so it will be more clear and you help us do justice to it. So in this 21st century, how can leaders adapt their management styles to accommodate diverse teams and perspectives? How can leaders adapt their management styles to accommodate diverse teams and perspectives? People coming from different backgrounds with different, upbringing, different perspectives, and the likes. What are the things that leaders can do to bring those people together in such a way that they will have a better result or a great result?
Okay, thank you so much for that question on how can leaders adapt management styles to make sure that people are having the best of time working from diverse teams. That's really a great question. One thing we must always keep at the back of our mind is that we are now living in a VUCA environment or a VUCA world where there is high volatility, there is uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. And part of the thing that these have introduced is disruption and also managing diversity. Okay, we just spoke about remote working. When you include remote working in your agenda and in your team, you're ready to go out there to say, okay, we are open to the diverse category of human beings, and we are willing to work with them. Okay. So question is, how do you get to integrate these people? How do you manage them effectively so that they can deliver results? Okay, so number one, let's get back to the table again. There must be terms of reference of what must be done. Okay, the first terms of reference is going to be more like a policy guideline that will determine how will people be brought into your team, how will people be inducted into your team, how will people be trained, how will they get to adapt to your team. Okay, I think it was just yesterday. I was going through. I saw a pop up on my phone, and then when I opened it, it was UNDP internship program. Okay, and they said you can work from anywhere. You don't need to work from their office in Copenhagen. Okay, you just have to work from anywhere. Okay, and what they are saying is that we're open to diversity, right? We're open to diversity. But if you look at what they've done, they've first of all created policy guidelines as regards to what kind of people are we looking for, what kind of work is this person going to do, what kind of pay is this person going to have. Um, they've created quite a number of things that have cleared off issues of conflict and all of that. So number one, there must be terms of reference, clearly written, clearly spelled out without ambiguity. Then number two is that there must be effective communication. Okay, there must be effective communication. There must be effective communication. Number three, there must be effective onboarding process. There must be effective onboarding process. Number four, there must be effective induction and orientation process. Okay, there must be effective induction and orientation process. Number five, there must be effective coaching and mentoring process. Okay, there must be effective coaching and mentoring process to be able to get these diverse people coming to work together as one. And then number six, which is where I'm going to stop, I'm going to say there should be effective monitoring and evaluation framework also to check what is happening. There is this myth that when you work remotely or when you work in a team that is diverse, that monitoring and evaluation is not strictly followed, but that's not true. When you have a diverse team, there must be an M&E to make sure that they deliver results. All right. Thank you so much for that question.
All right, fantastic. I mean, I love how you splitted those responses. I picked the part where you said there must be effective induction and orientation. There must be effective coaching and mentorship, monitoring and evaluation. Those are major things that I could pick. Now, let's look at the other parts. I remember one of our section we had a few weeks ago. We spoke elaborately about strategic planning, long-term strategic planning. So that will bring this question now: that what role does strategic planning play in the long-term success of a business? What role does strategic planning play in the long-term success of a business?
Okay, thank you so much. One more time for that question. Was the role of strategic planning in the long-term success of an organization? First of all, strategic planning is actually carried out with the intention of ensuring long-term success, continuity, sustainability of organization. So what would be the role of strategic planning? Okay. So let us put it this way, that we've decided to be sustainable, we've decided to live on the long run, that no matter what happens, we are going to be sustainable. We are going to live long, no matter what happens. So with a strategic plan, the role of strategic plan here now is that, number one, it helps you to manage change. The question is the role of strategic plan in the long-term success of an organization, right? Okay, so number one, it helps you to manage change. We understand that our success and failure are just function of how effective we're able to manage change. And when we talk about change, there are quite a number of things that goes with change. You have innovation, you have disruptions, you have outbreaks, and all of that. Those we have technological introductions that could bring in changes, natural disruptions that could bring in changes, like we had in terms of COVID-19, and then we have natural factors also, like maybe disaster, natural weather and climate challenges, and a whole lot. And then you also have natural challenges that come with conflict, for instance. So with a strategic plan, you've already identified these things, and then you will be able to know how to manage them. That's one. So it helps you to manage change. Then number two, one of the most important roles of strategic management is that it helps you stay focused on your vision, your mission, and your objectives. It helps you stay focused on your vision, your mission, and your objectives. We understand, for instance, what's happening in the global economy today. Several businesses have gone out of the business because they believe that their vision may not necessarily be achievable again, their goals might not necessarily be achievable again, or somehow the economic meltdown has distracted them from their vision, from their mission, that they are now beginning to pursue other things. But with a strategic vision, you stay focused. You stay focused on your vision, on your mission, your goals and objectives, and the likes. So it helps you to stay focused. Remember, I said the first one, it helps you to manage change. Number two, it helps you to stay focused. Number three, it helps you to optimize your resources. It helps you to optimize. So you know exactly with a strategic plan. A strategic plan should also contain investment options in case this happens. So strategic plan go with scenario planning. Strategic plan has in it results of scenario planning, results of alternative identification, results of what if analysis and all of that, SWOT analysis, PESTO analysis, all of this are contained in a strategic plan. So a strategic plan helps you to know where to invest per time. Okay, where to invest per time. Where to invest per time. This is very, very important. It helps you in resource optimization. Then number four, and okay, I will add another one before we stop. Number four is that it helps you to innovate. It helps you to innovate. Okay, we talk about blue ocean strategies and all of that. We'll talk about quite a number of other strategies. That strategic plan plays a role both in the development and in its implementation. Okay, so if you take innovation as a case, when challenges come up, some businesses that do not have strategic plan, they close up. Why others innovate? Why others innovate? There is a case ongoing now. Sorry, I'm going to mention name. Okay, let me not mention them. There are some food companies in Nigeria now that have been major players in the industry for decades. But in this time that the Nigerian economy had come into, where prices of food items are skyrocketing, you see small packs of food, they costing almost 10 times, 20 times of what they used to cost. And then I was with someone yesterday, said, no, I've decided I'm not going to eat this particular food again. And for the person said, after all, it's a processed food. There are some things people will not pay attention to because of price. But as soon as the price alternates to a point that they feel they are no longer economically buoyant, they will have alternatives. And this is where your scenario planning now comes in. So what if my product, my customers can no longer buy it? What will happen? What will be your alternative? So that helps you with innovation, okay? And not just innovating, but value innovation. Value innovation in the sense that you get to be emotionally intelligent. Your company, your organization get to be emotionally intelligent to know when to increase price and increase value, and then when to reduce price and increase value. I'll repeat this again. Companies need to be emotionally intelligent to know when to increase price and increase value. That is, as price increases, value increases. And secondly, they need to be emotionally intelligent to the point of knowing when to increase value, but price is decreasing. So this is very, very important. So this is the fourth one. And then the fifth one, the role of strategic plan in organizational sustainability. It helps you in diversification. It helps with diversification. So diversification tends to be like, okay, I've said that your strategic plan helps with investment options. Yes. So with that, you can know when to diversify. You can know when to diversify. We've seen companies that came into Nigeria or that started as maybe food companies. They still exist as food companies, but they have diversified into real estate without us knowing. They've diversified into media without us knowing. They've diversified into telecom, into oil and gas, into agriculture, into logistics and transport. Meanwhile, on the face value, we see them as a food company, but on their portfolio, they have diversified. Why? Because there was a strategic plan to tell them, do this, do that, and go this way and go that way. All right. Thank you. Let's go to the next question. I trust I'm doing something. I'm answering the questions as they ought to.
Fantastically well. Interesting. It's actually getting deeper. So I was thinking I will ask two more questions, but I will just find a way to wrap it up to one because of our time.
Okay.
Now, you were talking about the innovation the other time. So that was what actually, prompts this particular question. And I feel maybe you can just lay emphasis on it more. That how can an organization foster a culture of innovation and creativity within their teams and beyond? How can an organization foster a culture of innovation and creativity within their teams? I asked that question because you mentioned a lot of things about innovation and creativity recently. So maybe you can just use that to help us say one or two things before we now wrap it up. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dami, for that. Let me say it's a strategic question, because that is one of the things organizations are battling with today. And it's not just an African thing, it's not a Nigerian thing, it's a global thing. How do organizations build a culture of innovation? Okay, how do they build a culture of innovation? But before I proceed, I would like to encourage everyone joining us. In case you've not introduced yourself, kindly use the chat room. Let's know your name and where you're joining us from. And feel free to share the stream so that others can also learn. Okay, it's just a Q&A section. I trust you learned something from you. All right. Okay, so how do organizations build a culture of innovation among their teams? This is very, very powerful. First of all, any organization that want to build or that want to encourage innovation among their team must be ready for openness and transparency. Okay, they must be ready to be open and transparent to their team. Okay, they must be open and transparent. This is very, very important. When I say openness, what do I mean? Openness in the sense that they are open to communicate the needs of the organization, the challenges of the organization, the future of the organization, the direction of the organization. These are the things that can help people to think. All right. Okay. So let's take, for instance, what happened with Google. Okay. We have the, is it the 20% off in Google, 20% time, 20% something, there's something, 20% rule, 20% policy in Google. And what's that 20%? Google gave that policy of every employee is entitled to use 20% of their time to work on any project of their choice. Okay, just use 20%. In that 20% of your time, you are permitted to use the organizational resources, work on anything that you think is your interest. Okay, 20%. So why this was going on, it led to what we have today as Gmail, Google Meet, Google Plus, Google One, Google Home, Google Map, Google. Most of these things came from that 20% policy, all right? And that 20% policy, since it gave room to open an open culture where people can try things out, it gave birth to a whole lot of other things that had even made Google richer and better off. So you must be open and transparent in your communication. Then number two, this is very, very important. You must provide access to quality training. You must provide access to quality training. This is very, very key. Access to quality training. People must be challenged in their capacity building for them to, in the capacity building, especially in their mental abilities, so that they can be able to think. Innovation is a function of thinking. Innovation is a function of thinking. So train them, equip them to think, to harmonize their thoughts into creative adventures. That's number two. Number three, give them room to brainstorm. So if it is possible, break down your team into groups and then allow them the leisure to work and brainstorm. Okay, allow them to the opportunity to work and brainstorm on projects, brainstorm on how they are to do their work, and with that, they will come up with innovative ways of doing things. Then there is what we also call autonomy, work autonomy or work ownership. Give people the opportunity to own their work. Let them think on how to work it out the most effective way. Let them think of how to collaborate. Let them think of how to get it done. Okay, with that, it is easier to foster innovation. And then the last I will talk about, not the least, is engender collaboration. Engender collaboration. Collaboration and networking. These are powerful tools you can use to push innovation across your team. By collaboration, you can find other organizations who do similar things with you, or who have more capacity, or you have more capacity with them. They might have the idea, but you have the capacity, or you have the capacity, you have the idea. Okay, and then you collaborate with them to foster innovations, foster things that will bring in greater input, not just to the organizations, but to the customers, to the economy at large. So let me summarize this again. Ways to foster innovation within your team. I started with saying that innovation is a critical challenge. Fostering innovation within teams is a critical challenge, all right? And I said to be able to do this, ensure that there is open and transparent communication. Number two, try to give your group the opportunity to brainstorm, put them into teams and give them to brainstorm. I may not be able to arrange it the way I said it earlier. Okay, then I talked about next, collaborate and network. And then I talked about network, training and development. Okay, so I will add coaching and mentoring, because this is also key, coaching and mentoring. There is another one I wanted to point out, but maybe as we proceed, I'll be able to get them. Okay, but these are very important ways you can foster collaboration, foster innovation within your team. Okay, thank you.
All right. Wow. I believe it has been so wonderful so far. I mean, the part of coaching, mentoring is very important when it comes to innovation in any organization. So sense of belonging, it's our thing. It's very from, this is my business. So teamwork is very important in that aspect. All right, so before you give your final word, I would like to welcome some people that just joined us. I believe you've missed some minutes back, so you might need to go back to check what you've been dealing with before you joined us. So please, if you still want to share with your friends, kindly go ahead, or you want us to know where you are joining us from before we wrap this section up because of our time. So, Doctor, thank you for those insightful responses. It's well appreciated. So please just give us the final word concerning everything we've dealt with today in just 1 minute. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, Dami. Intentionally today, we just wanted to handle Q&A session. Since the year began, we'll be with training and retraining. Okay, but today we just wanted to answer questions as regarding the real-time issues organizations are facing. And thank you for drawing out all those questions, and to the people that sent in their own questions also to help this conversation today. We thank you so much. Now, in the final wrap-up, Whether you are a consultant, an entrepreneur, of course, as a consultant, you're an entrepreneur, management consultant, any other form of consultant, you are the business executive and all of that. We must continuously pay attention to knowledge update, keep up with training, retraining, keep up with collaboration, networking, keep up with understanding trends so that we can always be the best in whatsoever we are doing. Thank you so much. In case you've not liked, you've not subscribed to the channel, feel free, like, subscribe, and then we'll see you by this time on Thursday. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dami.
All right. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you so much. Please kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel. And also, we have different information for you. If you haven't joined our WhatsApp group, we'll drop the link in the comment section. Click there. You'll see different programs we are running this season, and you wouldn't want to miss any of those programs. Thank you, and see you next week. Bye-bye.